Hey everyone, welcome to GMIHub Online. You are seeing Cheryl, your host, and today we're going to be talking about prepping for performances. Hey, where are you going to be playing? You're going to be playing in a festival, a church, maybe a conference, maybe a concert, maybe your own event. Well, if this relates to you, this is the conversation you need to hear. But before I can introduce you to our guests, I want to remind you that you are watching GMI Hub Online. If this is your first time watching, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here visiting with us. I hope you enjoy this session, and I also hope that you will just click the like button and that little bell that's at the top. And here's the reason why. We want you to be one of the first people to be notified when we post shows like this and conversations like this that can help you. Also, if you want to know more about GMI Hub, which stands for Gospel Music Industry Hub, go to gmihub.ca, where you will find information about what we're all about and some of the initiatives that we're doing to help encourage and grow and support the gospel and Christian music scene. You can also follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, and of course here on YouTube. And you can catch us at GMI Hub. That's all you need to do, at GMI Hub. On X, you can find us on Industry Gospel. That's it, Industry Gospel. Okay, house stuff is all gone. Let's introduce my wonderful guests and surprise co-host, maybe. Okay, so today we are talking to two getting to be well-known artists here in Toronto. Um, both of them are from Toronto. The first artist I'm going to introduce is Michael Manhertz. Michael Manhertz is a songwriter, he's a performer, he's a worship leader, and he has done many projects and does many types of events in churches as well as concerts and other types of events. So we're looking forward to hearing from Michael. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here with you.
Awesome. And our other guest is, he's actually an award winner with the CCAs. He is the leader or the main singer for the Voices of Praise. And if I say the first part, you'll know who it is. It is Kevin Adams. And we're excited to have him. He's no stranger to GMI Hub. We have had him on our artist showcases. We've had him on the CCAs, and now he's here with us. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So, without further ado, should I introduce my surprise co-host? My surprise co-host that will probably pop in everyone.
No, you don't need to introduce me. I'm well known.
Okay, then. Oh, okay. The mysterious voice in the background will pop up anytime. Anyway, let's start this conversation. Prepping for performances. Gentlemen, I need to ask this question. You have performed in concerts, some in your own events, sometimes with other events. You've performed in churches, you have performed in festivals, I believe, and maybe some other scenarios that I haven't even touched on. But I'd like to know, when you are invited to perform anywhere, or if you're creating your own event and performing, how do you prepare? What's one of the first things you do? Michael, speak.
Okay, I was looking at Kevin. All right. I believe for me, what I do, I always ask a plethora of questions. And I know sometimes some individuals might find it a little bit, they may find it a little bit, it may seem challenging, but what I'm trying to do is extract as much information as possible so that I can do the best job possible. So this could be even things like, is it a worship night? Is it a concert, conference, whatever the case may be? And then from there, we go into, smaller things that would help my team. Like, is there this type of setup? If I have a full band, that usually goes with me. Is there this amount of mics? So you get into the nitty gritty in terms of, preparing and setting up for those events. Those are some of the basic things that I would say. But I'll leave some more for Kevin, because I know Kevin has a more extensive list than I do in terms of preparing for the concert.
Oh, I appreciate the call out. Wait, you didn't hear that, right? Okay, good. So a lot of what Michael said. Also, there's to be honest, and I know a lot of people don't like talking about this stuff, especially being as Christians, but even contracts. Um, and I've had a couple of experiences even recently where I've just decided fully now that there will always be contracts. Um, that we both sides need to understand where both sides are coming from.
Hmm.
And I think it's very important, and this is something that's going to have to be talked about for especially us as Christian artists, that there's going to certain things don't happen until certain things are signed for, and even deposits. Because I have to say this, in part of preparing, it requires rehearsals, which requires time. People have children,
Hmm.
as everybody knows. I got four. Michael's got one, and there would might have to be babysitting. There might have to be there's gas involved. There's so many things that's involved in preparing that's outside of what you think about just happening in the actual rehearsal scenario. And then for if you don't have those contracts put in place, and then if you're in a situation where 2 days before the event they cancel on you,
Hmm.
that's not cool, right? So
Hmm.
a part of preparation, everything that Michael said, inquiring about equipment, inquiring about how it's going to go, where you're positioned even on the itinerary, all that type of things.
Absolutely.
We are going to have to be a little bit more professional as Christians and have some contracts. And
Yeah.
so that everything is put in place, the requirements on both sides, so that everybody is safe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
So
that's my thing.
if I may chime
let
into that as well, like
sure.
I agree with what you're saying there, Kevin. Like again, with having both parity on both sides, it's also to maintain what the host is asking you to do, and as well as the artist making sure they can have on those deliverables. So it's not only for like the artist or the worship leader, whoever, to make it seem favorable to them, but it's also as an integrity thing to make sure that the host, your vision is being kept as well too. So it's good for both parties.
Absolutely. So going to I'm going to ask another question. To the contracts, I totally agree. Having that kind of contract is there. But what if people don't have a formal contract? Would a letter of understanding be appropriate for that?
I've done a letter of understanding before. Um, I really think it depends on the scenario. I know some people won't do it unless they have a contract, and I understand that side of it too. But I firmly believe that I think a letter of understanding is okay too, because I think sometimes people just don't want to just sign the dotted line. But I think a letter of understanding can be held as high as two, especially if it's an email too, as per
Mhm.
as per our agreement. Blah 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 blah. That
Mhm.
could be something that is upheld too. So I think that is okay. But again, to each their own. Some people may not. For me personally, I'm okay with that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any form of documentation, as long as there's documentation and it's there to
Mhm.
prove this is what was agreed upon, right? Then
Mhm.
yeah, I've never. I guess I may have dealt with letter of understanding, but contracts. Again, I'm sorry. I'm coming from this angle because this just happened to us just recently. So
Yes.
I just put the hammer down and I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. So on this, I'm camping on this because there are some artists that are going to be watching this who don't even know where to start with a contract. They may go online, but they don't know what they should be highlighting in a contract. So can you kind of give an overview of what some of the things that they should be including in a contract, just to help them out?
I'll let you
Michael,
start.
you first. No,
Of
no, this
course.
one's you.
Um, for me, in agreements that I have, I like to put how long the set list is going to be. Um, what time is call time, like what time you need the team there by. Um, are you going to be providing musicians, or am I bringing my team? Like, am I bringing singers, bringing my team? So those type of things. Um, if you if you have merchandise or CDs, will I be allowed, or I need to have like a table as well? Um, those to me are the basic things. I mean, it can get a little bit more in depth. If you travel, I think then you're going to add some things on, like, okay, like, what do you call it? Logistics, flight, hotel, or, certain things like that. But those to me are the main things that you want to make sure you have. Again, just the time, the agreement, who your contact person is as well when you get there, because sometimes you get there and it's like, who do I contact? Okay, you're sitting down in the foyer, for who am I supposed to talk to? You don't have no clue. So just getting that type of information. But I'll leave it there because I'm pretty sure Kevin has some more. He has the smirk of he has more to say.
What would you
No, I
add,
just like that.
Kevin?
I just like that he left this part for me because he knows, because he knows I'm going to bring it up, the honorarium, right? What is
Yeah.
discussed in the honorarium and the deposit and when
Mhm.
it's due and all those type of things is actually very important. I
Oh,
understand as Christians we don't like to talk about that side of money and whatever. The reason behind a lot of uh,
mhm.
deposits per se is to lock in the team. One, right? So for me, I have singers that come with me, and I have a band. Sometimes they won't want to. They'll tell me to use the house band, whichever. But the deposit is just to, again, to reassure certain things, because you won't want to be working so hard to prepare, weeks prepare for something, and then 3 days before you find out, oh, we can't have you. So there's so many factors. I mean, in the professional and outside of the Christian realm, there's, regardless to certain, with certain things that we do, there may be deposits that's required, and
Mhm.
you pay for it, right? I believe, to be honest, it needs to go along the same lines if we're trying to be professionals in what we're doing, especially giving God all the glory. And I personally find it could be kind of an excuse. Oh, we don't do that in church. Why? Why don't we
But
do
if
it in church? Because
you have
if the plumber comes in,
it,
right,
hmm
that's what it is. If the light technician is, if sound engineer is coming in, so forth. Why is it when it's the music department, it's different now? It's that doesn't make sense. So I believe strongly we should, what's the word? Keep the same energy across the board.
So that's interesting because even if you're going from church to church, you know that there are some churches that are more they're more, they want to move in the spirit, and they're charismatic. That's the word I'm looking for. They're very charismatic. And then there's others that are more reserved. So
hmm
do you end up finding that you slightly adjust what you do to draw the people in a little bit more because of the type of audience as part of your preparation?
I would definitely say that for myself. When I get an invite from church or conference, whatever the case may be, I do my research. I'll go on YouTube. I'll look at the church. I'll look, maybe do like a month's worth of research. Like, what is their sound like? What is their general, you know, disposition in, the style of worship, and tailor it to that. Another thing that um, I often do is I also read the room while I'm there, because anything can happen. And I'm very like, I'll like, if Kevin's before me and Kevin does something that, the atmosphere is high, the worst thing I can do, or for me, is just bring it right down. So I like to kind of just, wherever it's left, I try to taper from where it is, just to continue, because I believe in, smooth transition. So um, to your question, yes, I do tailor to the rooms I'm in, and I feel it's important, because I wouldn't go into a room with children, with kindergarten students, and sing hymns. They're gonna look at me. It's
I,
not gonna fly. They're going to be like, what? They're not going to understand the language to some of the words, right? So you have to bring it
Mhm.
down to what their understanding is. And I think that's a sign of a minister who can, be effective. Can you minister to multiple generations, multi denomination, or multi generational, multi, or just diverse people? Like, you have to be able to know how to do that. And I think it's important. So, yeah.
Mhm. Awesome. And Kevin, what about you?
Everything Michael said. Yeah, we always
Okay.
cater to, yeah, always cater. I mean, some people would want me, like, for example, if depending on the demographic, some people are like, oh, Kevin, just do a Caribbean one. I'll be like, okay, fine, right? Yeah, right. So, like, sometimes I like to, I sometimes like to throw a little curveball in there just to see what would happen and see how they would respond to it. But we
Hmm.
always cater to the congregation that is right. We always vet the church. We always vet sound. We always vet everything to just make sure that we're on the right page. And then, yeah, Michael hit it right on the nail.
So let me ask about this. As I said, you guys have done several different types of events. I can't speak for Michael, but I know Kevin, you've done events where you and your team have been asked to come, and then you've done your own events. How has preparation been different in that scenario of you doing your own event as opposed to should I say catering or answering to a promoter or event production?
Doing your own, do your own
Is
is
it
a
better?
lot
Is it
more.
easier?
Yeah, this is gonna surprise you guys. I'd actually prefer to do my own because I
Really?
know what I want. Yeah, I know what I want. A lot of times, what especially in Canada, the issue whether it be finances or just people that you deal with or something like that. But I would for me prefer to do my own. I don't know what I'm going into when I'm
Hmm.
being booked, right? And even though you send tech requirements or you send you send tech requirements, you send your whole rider, you send everything. You and they're like, yeah, everything will be here, and then you get there and it's not. Right, and then you have to then on the fly you have to adjust, right, or something like that. It's kind of weird, right? Versus when you're doing your own, you know what you need, what you want, and I I guess I'm a stickler with production, but I really I really want certain things a certain way. I mean, the trial and error. You know what I mean? Like you fail forward, you learn from your experiences, you continue to try to get better, right? And
Hmm.
that's if you asked me this a year ago, I may have said that yeah, I prefer being booked because it's just easier to show up. Versus
Mhm.
Hmm.
doing a couple now, I'm more leaning towards I just rather because I guess I gain more knowledge. I've been around a lot of more knowledgeable people, like Daryl and a lot of people who've helped with production. I guess I just prefer now doing it my own. But
It's
yeah,
like you have more
I guess
control over it, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
yeah.
Now,
You just
Michael,
you
have
just
you?
you know what you want.
Yeah, you know what you
Mhm.
want. Michael, have you ever had that? Do you do your own events, or do you mostly get
I
booked by
I
other
have
people?
I haven't done one of my own events in a long time.
Hmm.
The last time I did one was 2021, Kevin. 2021. Yeah, the last time I did my own
Was
event,
it 2020?
2021.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Oh,
okay.
mid COVID. Ooh.
So I did a closed recording. Closed. I think things are semi open. It's opening back up then, opening up.
Yeah, some people.
But anyways, I did my own recording. This is when I recorded the Unashamed project, and to Kevin's point, I think I do prefer putting on my own events. However, I wouldn't say it's easier. I would say that it serves the vision that you have better sometimes. Not sometimes, most of the time.
Okay.
You know how to put yourself in the best position to iterate what you want to say, how you're trying to translate your music, transitioning from point A to point B, like getting across your vision. So I think it does assist with that. And as Kevin said, sometimes when you are in that role, like where it's your event, you carry it all. You carry marketing, you carry tech, you carry set list, you carry the team. Like Lord, like Jesus, be a project manager because you're carrying it all. Like you're carrying the whole team on your back. And that's one thing that I do remember from my event. Like I as I was singing, I was literally watching everything. I'm like, this is supposed to happen now. This is supposed to happen now. This is supposed to happen now. So that was a lesson that I did take from it. As much as I am, I like to be incorporated in everything. It really helped me to understand to delegate, which I did delegate, but I think I need to delegate a little bit more, like give some control or give some things over to different people. So now on the day of, artist Michael or worship leader Michael or minister Michael can show up and do what he has to do, because you can see it takes away sometimes when you're in your own head, like you're thinking of many things. So yeah, I think that will be good.
Interesting.
It's
I would
definitely
be
not easier.
stressed. Oh, no.
It's not easy.
No, no, it's not easier. I just prefer it. I don't know why. I just prefer it.
I guess what I'm hearing from you both, though, you prefer it because you know what you want to, you know how you want to present yourselves. You know what you
Correct.
want to communicate to your audiences. But if you're in a position where you're given a particular audience, you kind of feel like you have to structure yourself differently to try and still get that
Hmm.
message across. Whereas when you're running your own event, you're in control of the environment. You're in control of, or you set the environment. You know what you want. I want the setting to be this. I want the music to be this. I want lighting to be this. I want backgrounds to be this. I want my singers to be here. I want my band to be there. You kind of have it in your head how you want things set, because then you can move better, you can communicate better, you can attract the audience that will accept you as you want to be accepted. Does that make sense? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
you
it
can be
comes across.
unapologetically yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. I'd be nervous personally, but that's another story. So let's talk about codes of contact. And do you have, for your bands, for the people that work for you, whether it is people who have set up an event for you to be at, or whether it is you doing an event yourself, do you have certain codes of conduct, certain expectations that you put on the people working with you as you're preparing for your event or the event? Okay, I see the lips going. Okay,
Um,
that's a cue to Michael. That's the West Indian version of over to you, Michael.
Codes of conduct. I would just say, just respect. The biggest thing to me is respecting my time. Like respecting my time is such a big thing. Honestly, more than being paid or saying my name before I get up on stage, just respect my time. Um, because you could be doing anything, anywhere, and you're sharing your time to help their vision. And I think when you honor somebody's time, I think that is huge, and it's an unwritten thing for me. So that's the main thing. Outside of that, if I'm a guest, sorry, I know I'm rambling. I just trying to get everything out as easy as I can. The next thing I would say is, if if you're a guest in my house, like I'm gonna make sure that you feel comfortable. So if you invite me to an event, you know, what would you expect for yourself to be comfortable? And I'm not trying to like make it seem where, like I need like Perrier water or the finest cheeses, but just to know that I was thought of, there's like, a beverage or something. I don't have any requirements, but it's just those small things. Oh, I was thought of, you know what I mean? And even if it's not that, like whatever, even if I just feel that you went the extra mile to make sure that I felt comfortable, that's all that matters. Even coming into a sound check, sitting down, okay, you told me to be here for 6 o'clock. It's now 6:15 and your praise team is still on here and I'm the guest and I'm still sitting down, hey, let's change it up. We have our guest here. Let him have an opportunity to. So those are the type of things that I feel, for me, make is my expectation of a host. There
Mhm.
are some other things like I'll get into, or maybe I'll leave it for Kevin. I always leave the heavy lifting for Kevin, which I might have. I've said this before, but even if there is an honorarium set up, ensure that you are paid, like if you say it's today's the date, you're paid today, because some people might have situations where they might be depending on it, or you've hired people to come along with you who you've told that you're going to
Mhm.
pay, And then it's like, yeah, you're gonna get it in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like those things are big. Not because, hey, like this is a cash grab, but because we want to operate in excellence. And if I tell you something and give you my word, I want to stand on that. And I believe that we all can do a better job with that. So I would say those two things, time and just standing on your word, would be for me. Now to you, Kevin.
Awesome.
Standing on your word. Yeah, no, Michael. There's nothing else to really. Yeah, I really get after my team about being professional and being on time and to be at sound check and everything like that. I'm really hard on my team with certain things, and no, I'm not. No way's perfect, but you know what I mean. But we have to take into account again. We talked about the preparation. We talked about all those type of things. We have to understand that a lot of these people are professionals. This is what they do. This is their livelihood, right? And if they're involved in something and the host or the promoter tells us that this is going to happen at this time, and then when we expect it to be this time, it doesn't happen, then the host, the promoter doesn't have to deal with it. It's us who has to deal with them, right? And it's not fun, right? So
You sound like you've had this before.
yeah. It's not fun. So like, again, respecting time as well. Like I know I've been doing shows for a long time, and usually, I usually ask for the itinerary, or just ask who's when and when certain people are going on, just so I can plan my sets accordingly, right? And just so that I can have, like, one thing as artists, and people need to understand, we don't try to take away from the other artists, right? We try to make things work. If I'm closing, then I'm going to do a closing set, right? If Michael's closing, he's going to do a closing set. If I'm before Michael, sometimes if I'm before Michael, I'm going to ask him, what song are you starting with? Just so I can know I can end on a certain, you know what I mean? So that he could just take up and go, right? Because we actually care about the event. We do.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
that being said, now, if I'm told I'm in the middle, and then 5 minutes before I'm supposed to go on, I find out I'm closing. and I've started doing this. I have contingency sets. So I have contingencies where I'm like, okay, we put the close, because it's happened to me so many times that if this is happening, I go look at the MD. We're doing set C. Wait, what happened? We're closing now. What? Yeah. So it's I would just, if we're put forth, I would appreciate it if we can remain there, because the reason why I ask certain questions is because I want to align with the event to make sure the event is working accordingly. If we're put to close, which we're usually put to close, but if we're put to close, then we're going to close, right? But and it's the same thing with Michael. If Michael's told that he's opening or he's in the middle or he's closing, he knows what he's doing. But if it switches and it's like he didn't prepare for it, you put an artist in a position now, especially if you put with another artist before them who is just, go ahead, Michael.
Flowing. And if I miss, I think, sorry, another thing is, and submitting a set list for the intent. I think it's very important so that you're able to kind of know, like what Kevin said, just navigating. I now prefer, like, people do like their original music, so you don't have those overlaps. But I understand, being able to, grab an audience by something familiar. So you want to do something that would grab them. But now when 2 people, 3 people do the same thing familiar, or say, for instance, party A, I'll give you one song and the rest of my set I'll flow. You might flow into Kevin's set. You might flow into, and then you might flow over time too. So I believe that those things are essential to operating. So I think that's good too. And as Kevin said, the itinerary. and locking in the itinerary and not switching spots because you want to go home early or you want to. I think, again, you need to be professional. The time that you get is the time you get, and just do the best you can, because it's not about yourself, it's about serving the vision. And I believe that if you know you're last, you serve the vision. If you know you're first, you serve the vision. If you know you're in the middle, you serve the vision. And as well, some people are just closers. Like Kevin, he's a closer. Certain people are closers, right? Sometimes it's hard to go up after certain. I'm serious. It's hard to go up after certain people if you don't prepare that way. And like Kevin has a team. I think Kevin usually travels with his band and the singers, but sometimes myself, I don't. So now if you tell me to switch, and now I'm switched with a team that's not familiar with me, that I've just rehearsed these specific songs with, now you've put that person in a spot. You've made the artist feel uncomfortable, and now the team behind him feel uncomfortable too. So you feel that. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents to add on to what Kevin said. That's a very big thing that I think is good. Sorry, last thing. And I think sometimes as artists, we have to understand as well that even with all of what we're saying, I've also learned that sometimes for me it can be frustrating, but I also have to know that some people just may not know. They may not have the knowledge or the education to know that this is not how it's done. So if I do feel frustrated, I will wait, and then maybe wait a few days and then provide feedback and be like, hey, just so you know, XYZ, da da da, we have a conversation. Because at the end of the day, I want to improve what we have here instead of trying to tear it down. I would never tear it down. I want to build people up. So I can be frustrated, but let that frustration lead to me doing something positive. Okay, let us do this, or maybe we should look at this. I wouldn't just speak ill on somebody. Like if I'm going to say something, it's going to be to help you. And yeah, that is my 2 cents plus tax.
Last thing to add to that, Michael, hold on. Last thing to add to that, artists, Daryl, hold on, tight. If Daryl gives you 20 minutes, plan within the 20 minutes. The Holy Spirit can move in the 20 minutes.
Time yourself.
Time your rehearsals. You're allowed to. The Holy Spirit will. The Holy Spirit can move through your songs. 20 minutes. If God is a God of order, I don't know. I'm trying not to be a certain way. I'm tired of hearing exactly. If you're given 20 minutes,
yeah, you gotta stick to it, man. And that's big. That's major. And that's something I've learned from one of my friends who's not really, he's not in the church circuit, but I agree with Kevin. If you've been given 20 minutes, please, when you're practicing, time your rehearsal, time your speaking moments, time it all. And some people be like, that's not the way I work. Well, you have to honor the people's vision. Because if you invite me somewhere, Cheryl, and you say 20 minutes and I do 40, you'll never invite me back again.
No, I'll pull you off the stage.
And that everything will go black. Everything will go black. You hear my mic, not Mike. Time. Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in here on this. I do festivals for a lot of big
Special
festivals
guest
during
is
the
here.
summer.
Yeah,
And
I knew it was getting fired up.
when you are when there's 3 minutes left and you hear them going, I've got my last song, and they spend 2 minutes talking, you know what you just did? You cut into your cruise break. We start at 8 in the morning and we're there till 1 or 2 in the morning, and that 20 minutes that they are doing a changeover is when half the crew is taking a break. They got to go to the washroom, they got to get food, they got to do whatever they need to do to prep for the next guys coming up. And trust me, there's stuff that's going on in the background that you don't want to be part of when they're running around. And yeah, they will throw you off the stage. I can get into some of the stuff about your instrumentation, but if you can't get off in less than 3 to 5 minutes, unless it's been planned for that, it's taking too long. I've seen stagehands literally tossing drum kits and guitars and stands off the stage. And you're going, by God, talk to my friends. Get them off the stage. That's not here. The next band's on. Get off the stage. Sorry, my little 2 cents.
I knew it was getting fired up.
So that surprise guest came because of you guys. But you know what? As you were talking, you just kind of shed a light on something that I didn't even take into consideration as a person, as GMIHub does events and has invited you both to events. Did not realize that the position that you're placed, or I guess the order that you're placed in within the program of an event, especially when you're part of multiple artists that are performing, did not realize that that position will affect your set. That is new to me
I believe so.
because my forgive my naivety, my thought when I would think as a event producer that if we say to you, this is how we think, right? Michael, Kevin, we're giving you half hour to do your sets. Go, right? And we'll get back to you on where you're being placed, right? We think you're just going off making your 30-minute set. We think no matter where you go, it's the same songs. It doesn't matter. But that's an eye opener to me to realize that where you're placed could affect your set. So if there are any event managers that did not know that, or event producers that didn't know that, light bulb, keep that in mind. Okay, we talked about what your expectations are, and I'm going to just put this caveat that whatever you're expecting from your hosts and for your team, would it be fair to say they would expect the same from you? Respecting time and all that rest. Yes?
Absolutely.
Make sense? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any things you do? Well, you have talked about doing some things proactively. You ask a lot of questions if you're being invited to an event, which helps you prepare because you'll know where you're placed. You'll know the type of event. You know your audience. You know the location. You can manage. It manages your expectations. So there's a lot of things that you do. But what advice would you give your other artists, about being proactive? What things would you tell them to do in addition to some of the things you've already shared, if there's anything at all?
I would say, as we've mentioned, and that we've said before, like making sure that you sound check, like making sure that you sound check, making sure you can hear yourself, because that could be catastrophic. As an artist, you're singing, you can't hear yourself. Always remember you by what you do. Like we said, the run of the show, order service, who's your audience, what's the theme is a big thing that I always ask. What's the theme? What's your vision for the night? Is like your vision, like, for there to be free worship? Is it a vision like a fundraising goal? Like, what's the vision for the night? I as well try to always touch base with the host person who invited me before I get on stage, to just to feel them out as well, too, if I haven't met them, and as well the MC, because sometimes getting a feel for the MC is important, because you can kind of see how their personality is, how they're moving. But to what Kevin said, contingencies. And this is something I learned from my brother Montal, who's he's a playback engineer, and I just think that sometimes he's over the top, but you can never be over prepared. Like for him, for the artists that he works with, he has their show on his phone, he has it on his hard drive, he has it on like 2 or 3 laptops, then he has it in the cloud. I'm like, why do you have it in so many places? Like, because you're never going to catch me where something crashes and I don't have a backup, because they're depending on me to do my job. So I believe, as artists, we try to do the best we can to make sure we can always deliver, have backups, USB, bring your own water, because you don't know if they're going to have water there for you, mentally prepare for tech delays or stuff like that. Stay calm, pray, plan as much as you can, but just be flexible, because at the end of the day, sometimes things aren't in people's control and you just have to be able to roll with it. But those are things I would say. Never assume, always ask, come early, stay humble. Don't chase platforms, chase purpose, and honor every stage, because even if it's a living room, even if I'm in a bedroom and I'm singing to like 5 different people or whoever the case may be, you never know who's watching and what doors will open. Every platform is the
Amen.
same purpose, to glorify God. Whether I'm at
Amen.
church, whether I'm at the Grammys, whatever the case, Stellars, Doves, whatever's going on, it doesn't matter. It's to glorify God, and that has to be the main goal every time. So that's what I would share with those who are coming up, and that builds for future bookings too. Once you're integral and you don't chase it, it'll find you.
That's right. That's awesome.
I'm
Kevin,
gonna
did
jump
you have
in here.
anything to?
I'm going to jump in.
Okay.
I think.
By the way, that's Daryl.
Hi. Oh, you're fishing for me. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. I'll come from the tech side. I am amazed how many bands show up with one guitar, or if they have two guitar players, two guitars, no spare strings, no spare picks. Drummers don't have sticks. Where is that? You know, I've
Kevin,
been
does
on
this
the
sound
I've been
familiar?
on shows where the playback computer has died, and they're going, "Oh, what's happened to the computer? What happened? Where's the backup?" I've seen it, and these are big shows. And
Backups in heaven.
somebody might wish they were there at the end of some of those shows, but where's your preparedness, right?
Yeah.
Like anything can happen anywhere, and I keep laughing at the guys. Sorry, one of my pet peeves, and I'll say this, is music stands on stage. You will. I don't believe in music stands. I don't believe in with the iPads, any of that stuff. And when somebody comes up and says, "Oh, do you have a paper clip for my music on the music stand?" No, absolutely not. You asked me to supply a music stand. We have right on all our forms. We do not supply any music stands at all. Even if you said we're supposed to, we don't supply any. Because you're stepping on stages, you should know your music. There's always the exception.
You should know your lyrics.
Yeah, especially
Yes.
if you wrote the song.
And yes, there are people who are like that.
That's happened before.
There are.
Oh, lots of people.
Yes. We've seen people that they said, "Oh, I wrote the song, but I don't know the lyrics. I don't remember. I have to put the page here in front of me or have it on my iPad." And they wrote the song, and God downloaded it to them, right? But it's like,
God gave me the
oh,
song.
Are you sure that they wrote it?
Oh no, they did. Trust me on that one. They did.
I mean, we do have forgiveness for people who may have, I don't want to categorize who, but if they have problems with memory, like if they have a condition where, or they're in a stage in their life where it's just like memory is good, but it's real short right now, I can appreciate it. I can appreciate it. I can understand that. But I think to your points about raising the level of excellence, we got to recognize as musicians, especially if you're a face that faces the faces, we are ambassadors of the message that has been given to us to share through the music, right? And I'm speaking from gospel and Christian perspective, we're ambassadors of the message of God. And if we're ambassadors of the message of God, what does it communicate when it's like, oh, 1 minute, I got to check notes? What does it mean when we are staring at lyrics? Like, okay, God really is trying to tell you this, and I have to read it when it hasn't even become, how can we deliver that message effectively if it hasn't even become a part of ourselves either, right? Like, if the message isn't real to us, how can we communicate that message to anybody else outside of being a robot, right? And we don't want to be robots, right? Not at all. And so to Daryl's point, we need to know our music. I'm amazed at, there are bands that I have come across and met that know 150 songs all off by heart. And they can go into any scenario. They can be called up any minute and said, "Hey, can you grab your guitar and sing a few songs here in the restaurant, or sing here at the bar, or sing at this church? Just grab a few songs." And they can easily pick up their guitar or get to their instrument and just start playing and singing all these words. There's no words in front of them. They don't have, they don't have a set list necessarily in front of them. They're just called very last minute. And this is where I'm going to touch on the be ready in season and out of season scenario. In terms of preparedness, it's being prepared all the time. Be prepared all the time, because you never know when you're going to need it to be. You're going to be called on to share a message through song, to use your gifts at any moment. Be ready. And I'm speaking to the prior. I need to do that. Be ready in season and out of season. And I'm amazed that there are artists, not necessarily Christian-based artists or faith-based artists, but there are artists that can, at the almost the drop of the dime, can get to an instrument and start singing a song and know the words off by heart. And it's more than 150 songs roaming around in their brain. If it's a band scenario, the bands go to different locations and they go, okay, let's see what they do, what you guys have said, ask the questions, what kind of an audience, what do they like, what don't they like? Okay, guys, we're going to do this, this, and this, and this. And they just start playing. And the set's totally different from the night before that they played. I'm amazed at that. And I sit there and I hope and pray that Christian and gospel artists will kind of take that to the next level and learn all these songs, like whatever songs, whether it's their own songs or whether they're singing already cover songs, but just know your songs, know your music, know how to deliver the message, even if it's at a last minute scenario. And I don't know if you guys get asked last minute, but this is something that just came to my mind about being ready in season and out of season, no matter what. Because I'm sure you guys do go to church or you've sung in church. And has there ever been a time when they go, hey, Michael, can you come up here and just sing a tune? Because the Spirit is moving. Just come, sing, right? Or Kevin, come, get the band to come and we're going to sing this particular song. Or just come up with something and you guys do a medley or something. Has that ever happened?
This guy.
Does it happen?
In fact,
Yes.
that actually happened to me.
Yes.
I'll leave
No,
it.
talk to me. Tell me about this. What do you mean?
I mean,
Oh,
it's
geez.
happening. You know, you get called up to sing a song. I mean, you have to be ready. And I do liken it to this. I know you said there's a band that knows 150 songs. I guarantee you, if I may ask, that band is a more mature band. They're more older fellows, right?
Probably,
Or older.
maybe. It varies, but yeah, it varies. They could be more
And
seasoned. Is that what you mean?
and I'll say more seasoned. And I do find that nowadays with technology and with all these things, there's more reliance on confidence monitors. Oh, I can learn this, or I can do this. Okay, I put the guide tracks in my stem, so it kind of does the thinking for me, whatever the case may be. Like I was talking to one of the youth at my church the other day. I'm like, all these confidence monitors didn't exist back in the day. We used to have. Do you remember that we used to put like the clear sheet, the presenter? What do
Yeah.
they call it? I think they call that, right? And then to put up, and if they were on the wrong part, you had to know that, like you just knew lyrics, like you had to know the song, and that was it. If you didn't
It.
know the lyrics, you're not touching the stage, period, and that was it. So I feel like, yes, we have advanced in technology, but the technologies allow us to be a little bit more dull in terms of our learning, in terms of our capabilities. So I think, to your point, I think it does show, a level of excellence. It doesn't mean that you're any less talented, but I do know, okay, having the ability to just, if you say, hey, Michael, can you sing Great is Thy Faithfulness? Okay. I don't need to go in my phone and look at, great is thy faithfulness. You can go right into it, verses and all.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could just have that
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, or even something modern. Like, can you go to it? If you sang it once, maybe put in your repertoire to learn. Like those things are very important because you never know at what given time you might need to sing a song or pull that song out of your back pocket based on the situation you're in. So I think that's a great point, but I do think I think it's technology that's kind of allowed us to kind of slip a little bit because we rely on some of these aids to help us. Because at my church, they use iPads. They use iPads, and sometimes I look, I'm like, it's new to me. But for some, I know it's easier because maybe not everybody has the time that some people put into it. I try to put a lot of time into it, but not everybody is at the same measure of commitment in putting time into that, and that's fine. But those things, I believe over time there should be a little bit of growth. Even if there should be a little bit of growth. If Kevin's been singing for 10 years, there should be a little bit of growth. You might be able to sing this verse better than you did 10 years ago. There should be a different approach to it. But that's what I would say with that. I can talk about that all night. So
Just for me, not knowing your own song, the
Stop,
lyrics,
bro.
your own song, that's crazy. Oh man, know your stuff, guys. Do your homework. Do your homework. I go over songs like it's crazy. Like hundreds of times. Like I'm down to the BPM. I know. Like I'm ridiculous with it. Like we have to. That's if you want an honorarium, or if you're trying to say that you're worthy of something and how you present yourself, you have to be prepared, man. That's it. You have to be prepared. You have to do your homework. You have to train. You can't play basketball and not train. You know what I'm saying? You can't sing and not train. You can't do those things, right? You have to. So the part of it, man, just not knowing your, and also drummers not showing up with drumsticks. Oh my goodness me.
You're going, how is that
You're a
possible?
drummer. You're a drummer. You don't have your sticks at an event that you're playing at. I don't understand.
Yeah, somebody's
like
actually
saying-
said that to me before. Yeah. Somebody said to me before, like, how are you a drummer with no drumsticks? Like, what?
You come to the show and you
Anyway.
don't. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Carry on. No, we'll talk about this forever.
But I think you know the point. If you are, I guess this is where another point is like taking your position seriously. If I can use this, I say this all this time. I go back to the Jehoshaphat army, and I think about the singers that had to go for, like, when they were told the battle is not theirs, it's God's, when they were surrounded by all the ites that were there, right? Mm-hmm. People were put into positions. Singers went out first, right? They went out first, and then the instrumentalists went out behind them, right? And then everybody else came with whatever they had, their swords or their slingshots or whatever it is that they used in wartime. They had their tools. When you think about that army, if the singers went forth and they didn't know how to sing, well, I can't say that they didn't make a joyful noise unto the Lord, but they sang praises, and I'm sure that whatever came out was praises unto God because they knew the victory was there, and I'm sure it was a beautiful tone. Maybe I'm being hypothetical, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's just, I think that was it, and I think the instrumentalists behind them would have been prepared in their own way to play the drums or play their lyres or whatever their instruments were to support the praise that was going forward. Am I weird? I don't know. And I'm sure that the other soldiers, if I can call them that were there, that were equipped with their bows and arrows and swords and whatever other weapons they use, would have had them there in preparation for war. I say all that because just like those soldiers were ready for war, and most people can imagine soldiers fighting. They can imagine them, modern day soldiers with guns and grenades and the whole, they can see that. They know it because those guys are prepared to fight and to win. I would think that our musical army should also be prepared to fight and win. Why? Because when they sing praises unto God, whatever goes up, God's going to respond, and it comes, and his glory comes down. Right? Am I preaching? Okay. So anyway, so I just think as musicians, as singers, that we just like soldiers need to be prepared, just like sports people, they have to be trained. They have to, weightlifters can't lift weight if they're the size of a baby, right? Unless it's a muscular baby. Skiers can't ski if they don't have their skis with them. And they're not skilled on how to use their skis or how to move to make it work, right? Isn't it the same thing? So as musicians, as singers, I believe that we need to be just as prepared. We need to not take our gift for granted, but bring it to a point of excellence so that it can be used and revered at the same level as anything else that needs preparation, training, skills, and so forth.
Absolutely.
The Bible requires us to be skillful.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Both and I want to stress that, like, you have to be skillful, but I believe you also have the knowledge of who Jesus Christ is. Because if I can sing my face off and have no understanding of who God is, I'm just singing. I can sing really well, but singing with that is going to change things. And even to, like, what you said there. Like it's very important that we take those things into consideration. And I am going to just slightly slide back to something we said before. And I think this is why as a disposition, and I hope I don't get myself in trouble here, but this is why I believe a lot of people like to come with their own team to events for this specific reason. Like if you have your team, you know the level of execution, you know what they're going to do. You could bank on specific things, and it's not to say that we don't appreciate other people kind of helping us and singing along with us, but when we have to deliver a certain level of professionalism, preparedness, and then you're put into a position where somebody may not be as put as much time into your discipline, it can slow things down a bit. And I think that has to be something that's also considered even from a host perspective as well too. Again, not that it's bad, but I think you have to look at how a person operates. Like I know, like looking at Kevin's come with his team 9 times out of 10 times, if he can. he's rolling with his entire team, and he stands on business with that. And I respect that about him. I have a little bit more leeway because Kevin's music is music, okay? So he really needs like his band there. But I think, with that, understanding the person who's ministering, like when, for example, if I have my band, I feel like I'm unstoppable. Like I could go where I want to go. Like they know, like even from my body language, if I if I turn around a certain way, okay, Michael's ready to go. You know what I'm saying? There's certain intangibles of preparedness that prepare people for things. And I think that those intangibles also should be understood when, trying to invite somebody. Not, again, this is not like a shot, but I think it's just to understand the way that, based on what we're saying, the preparedness, how people can best present themselves and show that preparation and how effective it can be when they're with a team that prepares together.
That's awesome. And I guess in building that team, that's a kind of a encouragement for people who may not sing with tracks per se, but they actually sing with a live band to work towards getting a consistent team. Is that a good way to say it? A consistent team or consistent band that can be with you and support you. And as you say, you build that relationship so that everyone
Absolutely.
kind of knows, the signals, the communication, what to do and what not to do. Like, where the next thing is going to go. Oh, this is where it's going. Boom. So, yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah.
Good job, Michael.
As you can tell, these guys are friends, so they all watch one another. Well, you know what? We've covered quite a lot. I sit there and I'm hoping that anyone who's been watching this has gleaned a lot from this. Now, you guys, are you both working on any particular events coming up right now?
So, yeah, I'm thinking about a couple of things going into the new year. Of course, we have to release the Phase 2 project, and probably a couple of other events that are in the works. I don't know, God really put it upon my heart to do some stuff. So we're looking forward to doing something in the new year. How about you, Sir Michael?
I'm really looking to get back into a lot more live stuff. I slowed down, after becoming Father Michael, Father A. But slow down a bit. But I'm trying to get back into that. I released a song 2 weeks ago now. 2 weeks, yes, about 2 weeks. So that's been taking traction, and I'm trying to just be a good steward of that. Planning to release more music, and then hopefully be a part of and plan some of my own events. Hopefully, maybe next year around this time, I am planning to do something pretty, I'll say would be pretty cool for the city. So keep praying for me. I pray that it comes to fruition.
Awesome.
Unashamed too.
Unashamed?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Oh, there we go. Awesome. Well, if anyone wants to follow you guys up, they can always go to your websites. I think it's kavpmusic.com and michaelmanhertz.com or michaelmanhertzmusic.com.
I'm currently working on a website, so the next time I interview here, I'll have a website. But they can just find me on
Okay.
social on Instagram. Yeah.
On Instagram, on socials. So we will put that information in the description. But guys, if you have enjoyed listening to this conversation about how to prepare for events, one, click that little like button. That would be awesome. And if you have any comments, put it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your feedback on this. And if you have any other questions, I'd love for you to put them in the chat so that either myself or Michael or Kevin could answer them for you. That would be really, really awesome. Again, if you want to know more about GMI Hub, you can go to gmihub.ca and you can learn more about all the different things that we are doing to help support and build an infrastructure that better supports the gospel and Christian music scene right here in Canada. And also it's now spilling into different parts of the world, which is, I think, pretty awesome. We also are available on social media. You can catch us on Facebook and Instagram at GMI Hub. You can catch us on X at Industry Gospel. You can also catch us right here on YouTube, which is GMI Hub Online. I want to thank you once again for watching us, and I thank our wonderful guests, Michael Manhertz, Kevin Adams, and the surprise co-host, Daryl, who will pop in whenever he feels like it. Thank you all guys for being on here, and I thank you again for watching. We'll see you next time right here on GMI Hub Online. Bye for now.
Bye.